I know what you're gonna say. You don't have to wait for New Year's to start setting goals. I know, okay? I know. And I've actually not even planned to set goals, and I've not planned to talk about it on this channel, but here we are. Whether you are a believer in setting goals at the beginning of the year or doing it at any time or not doing it at all, this time of the year, the beginning of the year, it's still a kind of moment of hope. There's this kind of general atmosphere of hope around. I mean, yes, it is 2024, and I don't think anyone is thinking this is going to be the best year of my life, because I feel like the last 3 years taught us a lot. So that's why I also didn't plan to have goals for this year, but it kind of happened accidentally. This not only made me want to achieve my goals even more, but also it inspired me to make this video, to tell you how to set goals as a beginner. First of all, let go of the pressure. I feel like exactly the thing that I didn't plan make goals, that's what gave me that kind of inspiration and motivation into it. To be honest, I didn't even call it goals, I called it things I want to do this year. I basically had one idea about what I wanted to do sometime soon, and then I wrote it down in my notebook, and then it started growing and growing. And those ideas were just coming to my head. So then the whole list came up. It was just about what I want to do this month, then what I want anytime soon, and then it kind of grew into those 2024 goals. I feel like instead of sitting down and thinking, what are my goals this year? I just started writing down singular ideas that came into my head. Now, what that changed is the fact that I started focusing on things that actually matter to me. Instead of just sitting down and trying to think of the goals for this year and making a list of very unrealistic ideas and things that are actually far away from my priorities, and just trying to push in as many things I can do this year, I just started writing down those singular ideas that came to my head over time of what I want to do. And you know, it's okay if it's just one thing, and maybe it's even better. Actually, less is more when less means more. So put in less of those goals as well. It helps you focus on them. It's not like you have to focus on everything at once. It just helps you focus, you know, those few singular things that you want to do. And whether that's going to take you a month or it's going to take you a year to achieve that, that's fine. Just focus on what actually matters to you, what actually is close to your heart, and put as little pressure on it as possible. When I say about things that matter to you, I mean things that are actually actively working in your brain at the moment. For example, this year I was meant to be alone for New Year's Eve, and that was really bringing me down. Plans kind of just fell apart, and I felt like I'm just gonna be alone, and I wasn't happy with that because I'm a huge extrovert. I love people and I love spending time with people, and I didn't see it as a great day to just sit in my room alone and watch movies. And yes, I've managed to make plans and I wasn't alone, but what that made me think about is that I actually want to learn how to be happy when I'm spending time on my own, and how to not feel sorry for myself when things like that happen. Or similarly, I was also feeling, you know, unmotivated and in a creative rut, and I've made a whole separate video about it that should be on my channel if you want to watch it. And that also inspired me that maybe I could create a community of creators in the rut this year, and that also happened to land on this list. That's what I mean. It's just those things that are already somewhat around you, somewhat in your head, and you just want to change them. Start realistic and then step it up a little. The thing about goals is that if they're too easy, we're gonna lose interest in them very quick. But if they're too hard, we're gonna lose the motivation. So it's important to find that kind of balance. It's about finding something that's enjoyable, but at the same time a little challenging. It doesn't have to be something that is, you know, very far away from what you can do. Maybe when you get into the habit of setting goals and achieving those goals, then yes, making that kind of leap over the year, it can be beneficial. But if you're just starting with goals, it's okay to just do something small. For example, like I would love to go to Italy. I would love that, but I know that that might not happen. And I might not realistically be able to go to Italy this year. Maybe next year, but not this year. So my plan is to go to Edinburgh. Closer, easier, still a place I want to go to. And I know it doesn't sound like a goal, but remember, things I want to do this year, not goals, okay? So yeah, maybe if I manage to go to Italy this year, I will be super happy, but I'm okay with the fact that I might not go this year, but I do want to go to Edinburgh, which is way more possible because I could even go there for the weekend. And you could hear me say I'm gonna do it next year a lot in this part. Well, that brings me to the next point. Realize that there is the next year after. Whenever we sit down to write our goals, we forget about the fact that after this year there's going to be another year, and we try to cram everything into one list over 1 year, which then we forget about, we don't even look back into. Not to mention the fact that our plans might change over the year, our whole personality, our whole career goals, everything can change within. So we put all of that list of all of those things and it's just unrealistic. But when you're sitting down to write those things you want to do this year, think about the fact that maybe you're not going to be able to achieve this far of a goal this year, but you could achieve a small step towards that goal and then take another step in the next year, and it's perfectly fine. You don't have to do everything in 1 year. It's probably not even possible. For example, I would love to become a theatre director. Yes, I would love that, but I know I'm not going to achieve that within 1 year. I know I'm not going to get all of the experience possible within that 1 year, so my goal is rather to get the internship or apprenticeship or a job experience rather than just trying to become a theatre director in a year, because that's just not possible. And that's fine, you just have to focus to do them step by step and just focus on that next necessary step to achieve the big goal at some point in your life. I said in my last video that I accept the fact that I have my own timeline, and that's something I want to encourage you to do as well. It's okay to take things slow, to do them in your own timeline, and whether that means doing it in 1 year or doing it in 5 years, it's perfectly fine as long as you still try and reach for that goal you have in mind. Goals are usually a big commitment, and we always overwhelm ourselves as well thinking about how much we have to do over the year, the whole year, to achieve this. So maybe try to scale down. What I'm saying is try it for 30 days. I read somewhere that after about 21 to 30 days, those things we do become habits. So maybe trying to focus on what you want to do just for 30 days is going to be so much easier than trying to overwhelm yourself for the whole year. Not to mention the fact that after 30 days you might change your goal. For example, you decide that you want to start weightlifting, and after a month you're going to realize that actually you would prefer calisthenics, and that's fine. That's fine to change goals over the year as long as you're still trying to become that better person that you want to become. Find a system and check in every now and then. I am actually really bad with that, to be honest. I have no idea where are my lists of goals, and even though I'm usually an organized person, I still get just hooked up with the overwhelm of every day. After a while, I just kind of step away from them and forget, and then just they're gone. There's a simple solution. Just sit down once and just put reminders in your calendar on your phone for every 2-3 months, however often you want to check in with your goals. And honestly, it's just going to call you. It's just going to call you and it's just going to tell you, hey, how you're doing with your goals. And you can revisit, and then again, your goals might change. It's fine, just set goals for another month. Again, scale down, it's okay. Now, the last tip before I share my list of goals for this year is a little thought that's just in my head every day now. What can I do today to be closer to the person and the life I want to live? And I know we're all busy, we're all overwhelmed with our lives, we're all tired, I get that. But it's just a simple thought that every day you can do a little something. Maybe it's reading a book before bed, maybe it is doing a little exercise, and maybe it's just getting the time to relax, to take care of yourself and just calm down a little, because we forget about that too. We forget about ourselves, and that is not good. I divided my list of goals into 3 categories. I saw a lot of people do that. Somehow it's just easier for us. And I also saw a lot of people put like about 3-ish for each category. Mine's a bit more flexible. The first category is myself, and that is a category of things I want to do for myself, things I want to work on as my own person. And that is actually the longest category I have in here. Maybe it's a little selfish, but I need to take care of myself, okay? So I mentioned before about me being an extrovert, and that is the first thing I want to do. I want to learn how to enjoy time with myself, how to be happy when I'm on my own. And I don't usually struggle with it. I would be absolutely fine going into places on my own, but usually I find myself after a few days I want to just engage with people and I want to do something with them, and I feel like that's also fine. And that's not about me trying to be on my own, it's about whenever I find myself being on my own, I don't want to feel sorry for myself. I want to find ways so I can still enjoy that time and I can still feel good. Another thing is, I told myself that I want to do at least one fun thing in a month. And by fun thing, I mean going to the theatre, going to sofa concerts, gigs, jazz bars, classical music concerts, just having those sort of creative experiences, maybe some workshops, so I'm not just home alone, and so that my whole identity is not just working and watching TV. I want to actually have nice experiences to look back on. And again, if that means doing them on my own, that's also fine, but I just want to do at least one of those things a month. And to be honest, so far it's going good. So far, because I'm going to a sofa concert. But yeah, I've got some plans for this and next month, and yeah, it's gonna be exciting. I'm gonna be sharing it with you, so don't you worry about it. Now that's things mainly for my mind, and now things for my body. I want to practice yoga 300 days in this year, and that is a lot. I know that is a lot, and that sounds like one of those unrealistic goals. But the thing is, like, I'm already quite an active person. I've been already exercising quite a lot, and actually 300 days, okay, yes, that's a lot, but that also still gives me 66 days off. And the thing about yoga is that I can still kind of adapt it to something comfortable. So for example, when I'm on my period or when I'm not feeling my best, I can just do yoga, I can just do 10 minutes. That's always something. My body is still moving, my body is still feeling better, and that's also working on my mind. So I feel like that is an easier goal than it seems. And I'm also fine if it's gonna end up being like 260 days, like that's okay, yeah, that is maybe 40 days less, but that's still fine. Like, the goal is to just keep trying and keep doing it almost every day, and I really do find myself just feeling my body very yummy when I do it. That's why I want to do it. And I also want to focus on my financials. I spend a lot of money on snacks and food, and I want to be more cautious of that. I want to spend more money on those experiences I've been talking about, or on things that will actually help me grow, or whether that's, you know, content creation things and stuff like that, than spending it on food and snacks. Now for my second category, it's career. And here I only have one goal, because in terms of career, it's about following that one path. And yes, like, YouTube is also a career thing. And yes, there are things within YouTube that I want to do. I want to post more consistently, blah, blah, blah. But when it comes to my career, that's gonna give me money to live, and that's gonna be my one path, I just follow one step at a time, and I just focus on that next necessary step. And that step right now is trying to get into the industry, is trying to get some work experience or apprenticeship or even volunteering, any sort of experience that I could put as my professional experience, and I could use that in the future. Last category, I called it others, because it's about things I want to do with or for others. One main thing I want to do for that is catch up with my family more often. I know it's awful, but the truth is that living abroad, it's kind of out of sight, out of mind. I do catch up with my family, but I would like to do it more often. I don't feel like I do it often enough. And then the other thing I want to do for others, which is at the moment the least of my priorities out of those things, is creating that community of creators in the world that I mentioned about before. I want to do it, but I'm just not sure if now's the time just yet for me. But most of all, besides all of those goals or things I want to do this year, I just want to live life. And I hope that the idea of doing something fun once a month is gonna help me with that. I always get lost in what I have to do, in where, and I don't live life. And even if I do, I just kind of skim through those events. I'm not really present. In general, I really feel like my life is boring, and I want to change that. So there we go. That is my goals and that is my tips. I hope some of them really helped you. I hope they inspired you. If they did, please let me know and comment down below. And if you have more tips as well, because this is the place where we can all help each other out, we can all inspire each other, please, I do encourage you to comment down if you have any more ideas. I will hopefully see you in another video soon. Thank you so much for watching, and yeah, bye bye.